Hello, folks. The wait is over. We are here. We are back. Once again, it's another edition of Boxing Chit. Josh here, along with the Bozinator, representing and holding it down across the pond. How's it going there, Boz?
It's going pretty well, yeah. I mean, I'm not in absolutely top shape right now, but anyway, I just had to, take part in this. Yeah,
Yeah, well, appreciate you coming on. Of course, we'll keep it short and sweet if that's a
yeah.
thing as it relates to us on this stream. But that being said, we're
Mhm.
gonna aim for it. But yeah, another edition once again. Boxing Chit, Zencaster is where it's listed. And if you don't know about Zencaster, it is a top tier platform. They host podcasts on the Zencaster Creator Network. In addition, they have a lot of new programs that they're introducing. So if you want to have your podcast on a rising platform, Zencaster it is, and they have an auto enhance feature that takes away all of the editing that you would need to do in the typical sense when recording a podcast. So I highly recommend it. Been using them for a good while now. Boxing Chit represents. You see it there on the screen as well for those watching. So highly recommend Zencaster. Check it out, folks. And with that, we're going to talk about the big fight, the big contest where there's major moves here over the course of the weekend, and that is no doubt the Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo contest that took place in Las Vegas, Nevada. And of course, it was being promoted and touted for the fact that it was undisputed versus undisputed in the sense that Canelo
Mhm.
came in as the undisputed 168 pounder in the world, and Jermell Charlo the undisputed
Ah, yeah.
154 pounder in the world. So that meant that there were a number of implications involved, and that also meant that there were going to be eyes watching to see if Jermell Charlo could, in a sense, make history by jumping up two weight classes to dethrone Canelo Alvarez, which, as we know, is a fairly tough task there. And on this night, it proved to be as tough as expected for Jermell Charlo, who, if you don't know by now, was not successful in doing much in the contest just from an overall perspective outside of surviving, which he was able to do for the entirety. And it ultimately came down to Canelo being the stronger puncher moving forward all night, while Charlo worked behind his jab at times, but oftentimes found himself defending with his back against the ropes, or at least trying to stay off of the ropes and more on the move. Overall, what are your thoughts on the contest there, Boz? And shout out to Fight Night Scores who dropped in, who we just left from over his channel. Give him a subscription, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A lot of good content. We were just scoring Fury versus McDermott over there. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Go check it out. But what are your
it
thoughts
was
there, Boz?
fun. Yeah, like I had predicted Canelo won this fight, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that maybe it would be a bit more competitive than it was. Yeah, probably. I heard some stuff, about Canelo doing some. There's some funny business going on.
Mhm.
But I mean, the whole thing with Charlo having to go like up to weight classes was hardly fair. Him, I think, and yeah, I think it was just a thing of that I expected. Also, it played out how I expected. Canelo went to body, as usual, and I was just trying to find this. All right, so yeah, Canelo. It was this Mexican friend of mine who told me about this. That he was being criticized for imposing hydration clauses, right?
Mhm.
Canelo, and it's like Juan Manuel Marquez and guys like that has also spoken against that tactic. Let's call it a tactic. That's how it called. And if you accept a fight, do it thinking that your opponent will do whatever he can to be in his full potential. But if you accept the fight imposing clauses, then what kind of champion are you? But that's basically what Marquez said. What is the value of a victory in those terms? Yeah, I kind of agree. Because he wasn't fighting Jermell Charlo at his very best. I mean, physically, anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of it's hard to be really. Yeah, it's a kind of a double standard almost, you might say. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the rehydration clauses. I'm of the mindset that if you choose
Mm,
to fight at the weight, fight at the weight. Otherwise, there are other weight classes and stick to those. So I'm not a
yeah.
big fan of throwing in an extra added rehydration clause because you view a fighter as bigger. If the fighter is able to make the weight, and we've seen some
Mm,
who struggled mightily to do so, then they are a part of that weight class. And we know back
yeah.
in the day we didn't have as many weight classes to choose between, and those guys were routinely doing it. And we've made improvements to things from a safety perspective. So adding heat rehydration clauses, I think that's just another one of those things that adds an asterisk in some sense to some contests.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I really don't know why, actually, why Jermell was the one who took this fight. It should have been Jermall. We all know pretty much. We all agree on that. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. And Jermell, despite the fact that he's had a good deal of success at 154 pounds, this was going to be a tall task from the jump,
Mm,
which is why many, I think, had Canelo winning going into the contest. But Jermell had people on his side as well who felt that he would go in and really box Canelo in a way that would make Canelo struggle in a
mm.
similar fashion to what we've seen at times with Canelo, with some guys who could box very well, but we didn't really see
Yeah.
much of that at all from Jermell Charlo, who has shown that he can be a solid boxer, but he's certainly not a Erislan De Lara type or
Yeah.
whatever, or a Mayweather as far as that level of fundamental skill,
Or Bivol.
Or
I,
Bivol, Dimitri
yeah.
Bivol, correct, correct.
I think, yeah, I think especially, since he used to be more of a boxer, but since he became a knockout guy, also, I think he kind of may have, neglected, I don't know, those skills, or he just, he wanted to try and knock out Canelo, even probably, and to get the glory for that too. And yeah, because Canelo hasn't been knocked out, of course, yet. Who knows if he ever will? But yeah,
Yeah,
it might be the case. And as you said, he's hardly Floyd Mayweather or Bivol or whatever.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, certainly. Hey, and there was no controversy in after the fight, as far as I'm concerned, with Jermell accepting the fact that he lost. He seemed to be well content with such, from what I heard, at least. So he knows he's lost. He knows he lost, and yeah, this turned out to not be the major contest that we expected to be, especially when they were peddling the undisputed but versus undisputed aspect. But hey, what can we say?
yeah.
Boxing, kind of how it goes, and they need to improve upon some of these things for sure, especially
Mm.
given that it was a pay-per-view and we didn't get that overall excitement that you expect when you're going to be shelling out $85 or more for a pay-per-view event.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, Canelo has clearly proven that he can fight. Really, I mean that he comfortably fights either even at 175, but 168 he's really at home. That's his home, So
Yeah.
he's definitely, despite being shorter significantly than Charlo, he's still a stronger guy, you might say, because of that, and yeah, that weight
Hmm.
advantage, for him being it's very natural to fight 168. For Charlo, it wasn't. I don't know now, but yeah,
Yeah.
I,
No, no, you make a very good point right there, Boz.
mm,
Very good point. Salute to Mr. Pads who dropped in, says, "Hey fellas, a lot of boxing to discuss." Salute there, Mr. Pads. Always great to have you in, buddy. Appreciate it for
mm,
sure. Yeah, a lot of good boxing to discuss. Of course, we're talking Canelo Charlo, another edition of Boxing Chit. Listen on Zencaster as well when it's posted there and on the podcasting platforms. But Mr. Pads, you make a great point. And Mr. Pads mentions Josh and Boz. Did you watch Ramos versus the Ramos versus Lubin fight? Who did you have winning? And were you happy with Frank Sanchez's performance? Also,
Oh,
did you watch Otto Valine versus Murat
yes,
Gassiev?
of course.
Upset, in my opinion, Valine win. Now, to that first one, I was able to catch the Ramos Lubin fight there, Mr. Paz, even though I didn't have full attention on it. I was mentioning it on the earlier stream with Fight Night scores. Be sure to check out fight-score.com. You can check out Fight Night scores here on YouTube. I was mentioning that from what I had saw, it looked as though Ramos was the fighter who probably deserved the nod. Alex Vega, salute Alex Zorro de la Vega here on YouTube. He mentioned just from him watching it, he had it closer to a draw, which of course wasn't necessarily the consensus of many who were viewing the contest. I know that they were booing Lubin there in the aftermath of it. So the fans there felt that I guess Ramos was the victor, but Lubin, I guess, essentially did some good work there in the latter portion of the fight to be able to get that nod. So he's the one who moves on. For Ramos, he goes back to the drawing board, at least to a degree, though he will have won some fanfare for those who felt that he was essentially robbed of victory.
Yeah, of course, they were not satisfied. I mean, it was, I believe, mostly Mexican audience, so of course
Okay.
they were booing. I mean, you gotta be honest, they were on Ramos side, whatever we call it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bruce Gass says that he thinks that Lubin won.
Salute to Bruce
That's
Gas up in here. Says salute my
so.
brother. Appreciate you there, Bruce. Be sure to go like and subscribe. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Great channel with great content. Always great to have you in here, Bruce.
I haven't seen it really, but I would like to. I hope I will be able to find it later.
Yeah, and I want to go back and watch it myself, as a matter of fact, to kind of give it more attention, considering what the overall verdict ended up being. So
But
I
it
want to go back
was,
and watch it as well, and we can talk about it at some point, I'm sure.
yeah, it was like almost a must-win fight for Lubin because had he lost now, and that
Yeah.
would probably have been it. He wouldn't receive any more bigger fights, probably. And he already has two losses, and
Yeah,
both
yeah.
by stoppage, knockout, stoppage. Yeah.
Yeah, that certainly would have pushed him back a bit as far as his lineup or trajectory there at 154 pounds. Now,
Hmm.
coming into the contest, I did think Ramos would be victorious. I thought he would do a lot of great inside work and eventually break down Lubin there in the latter portion of the fight. But like you said, must win essentially for Lubin in some sense because he's been right there on the cusp for that breakthrough, and he's had the apple cart upset, a couple of times. So this was one he most certainly needed to nod on. Not that he would be necessarily out of contention completely, but certainly this helps with
Yeah.
momentum for him, regardless of the
Yeah.
fact that people viewed it as controversial.
Hmm. Of course, there are always stuff like that. I mean, controversy. I cannot say, of course, if it was because I haven't yet seen. But I mean, I think people sometimes today are a little bit too quick to shout robbery and stuff like that.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, we saw that with Hergovich and Zhang, for instance. Let's pull out that one. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, Zhang won that fight," but I mean, come on, if you watch it, then you
Yeah.
see there's no way he could have won like more than 5 rounds or something at best. I think probably even if you give, I don't know if he. No, I can't give him 6. Even
Yeah,
5 would
certainly.
be a stretch. I think. Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a robbery. Certainly a close fight, but definitely not a
yeah,
flat out robbery, as some
yeah.
did mention.
Close fight. Yeah, of
And this
course.
being a guy who likes Zhang for sure, but yeah, not a robbery right
Yeah.
there. And he had a
Well,
very bad 12th round that
yeah,
really gave
yeah,
the
yeah,
edge to Hergovich, in my opinion.
yeah, of course. And so it was a test a great test for which he passed in the end. Not didn't look good at first, of course, but he did pass it in the end. And yeah,
So salute to Rodolfo Rivera Jr. in here representing Mexico. Sends his regards to Bruce Gas as well. Everyone follow Rodolfo Rivera Jr. Might be covering that Pro Grey Haney bout on behalf of Cover 86 Boxing. That is, we'll see. We'll see. Make some stuff happen there, Eddie. Match room, make it happen. But salute to Rodolfo Rivera in the building. In the building now, Mr.
Mr.
Paz back.
R.
Oh yeah, and Bod sends his regard there as you saw, Rodolfo.
Double
As
R.
you saw. Salute to Brian Corbett as well, who just dropped in. TWT representing here. Appreciate you being here, Brian Corbett. Of course, of course. Thanks for tuning in there, buddy. Yeah, we're talking Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo, at least the card, and of course more from that night. Now, what Mr. Paz did mention Frank Sanchez's performance. I didn't catch that one, Mr. Paz. I don't know if you caught it, Boz. But what I will say is Frank Sanchez, he has been one of those promising heavyweights. I'd like to see him in there with a bigger name. And, he was the first to defeat F.A. Ajagba.
Yeah.
And I think that he's a very solid boxer. Of course, if you're coming from the Cuban school of boxing, that is going to likely be the case. And he's kind of on the outside looking in for a big name as well. I know he's rated in the top 10 of the rankings, but that being said, he just doesn't have that marquee next step fight on the banner yet. And maybe that comes next. Maybe.
Yeah, I hope so. He really deserves it. I mean, he's a very skilled guy, and the way he just picked Jagba apart, a bigger, heavier guy, stronger and everything, it was so impressive. I mean, to watch that. I was really in awe of him, because even though Jagba is probably, I mean, he's not that good, but he's still a big, dangerous puncher, a really strong guy, and he Sanchez showed, so showed no fear whatsoever because, and I love to see a guy who is so confident of his own abilities. He's obviously very confident because way he fought, he took the fight to him from start, and he didn't, just retreat to his defensive shell like
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather would have done or somebody like that. But he would just, bang, 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 and drop the jug by and, just outboxing totally, completely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think he showed how skillful he was in that contest. And again, it's a big puncher, one who was at one point a pretty feared puncher. You could
yeah.
argue, I guess, that still may be the case. So Sanchez is the real deal as it relates to that. Salute to Brian Corbett, who drops in Sanchez versus Anderson. Looks good. That being Jared Anderson, who we're all familiar with, the up and coming American heavyweight who's graduating that prospect stage at
Yeah.
an advanced rate. I don't know that we can necessarily call him a prospect at this point. He may not be considered, a top 5 guy, maybe even not even top 10. Sort of, if some
Mm.
may think he's there in that trajectory back end at the very most, but certainly one of those guys who looks to have the makings of a heavyweight that can be one of, if not the best in the world. So that would be such a huge statement if he were able to defeat someone like Frank Sanchez, who, unlike some of the opponents he has faced, or a number of them who are on the bigger side, who, just were bodies that had power behind them and could punch, things of that nature. Sanchez is more apt to be one of those guys who will use his actual boxing skills in the ring, and they match up size wise fairly well. And you could argue that Sanchez will be just as mobile in the sense of how he'll be moving laterally there in the ring, and skill for skill. I mean, we know Sanchez is. He's on a elite level skill wise as well. So that is a very good contest right there. And I think it would bring out the best of both of them. What do you think of that?
Mm. Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, Anderson, he has the talent to, to be able to at least have a chance to win against Sanchez, if nothing. And Sanchez, of course, we know we've seen has the boxing ability to also be considered, a real, a real strong favorite, pretty strong one. I mean, yeah, so a viable favorite, how they say it. So, yeah, I would really love to see that fight. I don't know if it has been in the talks, or that's why Brian mentioned, or maybe he just said it, man, that it would be very good. But let's make it for
Hey,
sure.
yeah, we need it. The heavyweight division needs it. We
Let's
want it.
go.
We're for
Yeah,
it.
let's
Salute to
go.
Just Frank dropped in as well. Appreciate you being here, Just Frank. Salute to my man Skywalker Boxing, who's not in here at the moment, but certainly some people who we connected with on his channel for sure. So appreciate you there, Just Frank, as always. And Mr. Pass did mention Otto Valine versus Gassiev. Now I haven't caught it. I'm gonna see if I can go find it
Mm.
and try and check it
I
out. Had you caught it? Oh, you didn't catch it either,
know,
there,
such a
Boz.
shame. Yeah, I missed too many fights last night. Sorry. I
Okay,
mean,
okay, yeah.
most
I
of
want to
them
go
were
back and
on.
look at it.
Yeah, most of them were on the other side of the Atlantic. So I only caught the Opetaia fight, which didn't last very long either. So
Yeah,
yeah,
timing can always be an issue there with a number of those fights. We're certainly going to get to Opetaia doing his thing. But
yeah,
yeah, Gassiev, his run at heavyweight in general has just left a lot to be desired. So him losing, I
yeah.
won't say it was too shocking in my
He's
opinion there, Mr. Pat. You view it as an upset.
yeah,
I do view Gassiev as being one of those fighters who, once he actually moved up, I thought would be somewhat of a player at heavyweight, but I feel a little bit too inactive. And of course, this was the first real name that he's fought at heavyweight since he moved up. And at this point, this is going on like 5 years ago or something of that nature, right? 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was. And he didn't have a good performance there in the World Boxing Super Series against Alexander Usyk,
yeah.
which had the
Oh yeah.
makings of something that would be potentially special, but certainly didn't turn out to be. And that's not on Usyk's part, more so on Gassiev, who looked a bit flat, and I feel like he's continued to
Mm,
look a bit flat outside of knocking out some opponents he should
mm.
have knocked out. So that's my
Yeah,
thoughts on it. What do you think there, Boz?
he's a power guy. He's always been pretty limited as a boxer. Technically, I mean, of course, he's shown it, but in a real war, dog fight like against Dorticus, he
Oh
prevailed,
yeah,
and he's really good at that. Obviously, he's a
yeah.
strong, as I said, he's a power guy, power fighter. So he's a warrior, he's a puncher, and a strong guy. But when he has to like think, adapt, box a lot, he fails. He fails at it really. Like against
No.
Usyk, you gotta think and adapt and box a lot and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
certainly that is the
mm,
case right there. I think that's a good point. Salute to Stop Motion MMA who dropped in. Be sure to check him out. A lot of good historic content over there on this channel. So I have to check it out myself there, Stop Motion MMA. Going to get to it, but I like the fact that you're dug in on the history because we love it for sure. We love it. Uh, and Fight Night Scores mentions that heavyweight scene will fast need a talent boost soon as we're near the end of Usyk, Fury,
mm,
Wilder, Joshua. Yeah, we do have a lot of the heavyweights who are on sort of the midpoint or back end of 30 at this point, up
yeah.
at the top end. So we do need the Jared Andersons of the world. We do need Frank Sanchez to stand out and be able to get one of these opponents. And we do need some of the other younger heavyweights
Jalol,
coming up, like Wardley, freaking David Adelaide, so on and so
Jalol,
forth.
Jalol,
Jalolov, yeah, he's one. Makhmudov,
Mahmoud. Yeah, Mahmoud. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, he's one. So yeah, we do need to see some of these guys, and I think a good start to that is some of them
And
fighting
don't,
each other.
and you forgot one more.
Hergovich, Philip
Yeah,
Hergovich.
Hurgovich.
So
Philip.
yeah, certainly to last but not the least, right there, Philip Hergovich, who I do want to see in a bounce back contest from his last one, which he got the victory, of course, via stoppage at that, but definitely looked a bit lethargic for a good portion of that contest, and he was coming off a layoff. So a lot of
Yeah.
names are there. We just need some of these matchups to happen between all of these names mentioned because that's what's going to make for excitement in the division.
Mm, definitely. Yeah. We do have some really good contenders right now, and it's just a matter of getting them, to fight each other as soon as
Yeah.
possible and as much as possible. I don't like this tendency lately to keep these guys apart, and not all of them get the big fights in time. And Wardley, I'm really excited also to see what he can do because he's got that crazy speed, as well as power. And even though maybe defensively he has something to work on, probably I would say, but other than that, yeah, he's really a
Well,
talented fighter. Really.
yeah, I think we'll find out a lot when he takes on David Adelaide, who I'm looking
Oh
forward
yeah.
to that contest. And they had a scuffle there that I saw. I know we talked
Oh
about it
yeah.
on here
That's the
before.
guy.
That should be
Yeah.
an interesting one because I hadn't seen anything really standoutish from David Adelaide thus far, but he seems to be pretty charged up to take on Wardley. So maybe that's going to be turn out to be a pretty solid fight right there. Time will
Yeah.
tell.
Well, I think Warley probably was. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
really much about. Haven't seen really much, but I think he's still, probably one of these guys who just talk a lot but aren't really backing it up. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll get the opportunity to do so. And then, of course, with Eileen or Vileen getting the win, maybe we see
Well,
him in with some of those guys that we mentioned there, some of those young heavyweights
yeah.
looking for a name, someone who's going to come to fight. Maybe we see one of Sanchez versus Vileen or something like that, or Jared Anderson
Yeah.
versus Vileen. I'm
That
for it.
might well happen. That sounds like a really kind of makeable fight. I mean, I said, well, Valin, I think highly of him, but he doesn't have that big punch. That's the only problem. But
Yeah,
he certainly can fight, and he's a tough guy. And yeah,
yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty
mm,
apropos right there. Certainly. Mr. Pat says, I expected Barrios to win, but Ugas looked so horrible, or looked so poor man.
poor.
Yeah, so poor.
Yeah,
Yeah, not horrible, but
that
yeah,
Spence fight really did him in, and the inactivity also, of course. And he's
yes.
37, already. Yeah,
Yeah, leading into the contest, I honestly thought that Ugas would be able to pull off the victory. But one big question that I had, and I mentioned it somewhere, don't know if it was on here, was how his eye would look or hold up since that Spence fight where it was swollen
yeah,
shut. And of course, it reared its head in this contest. And Barrios, who seems to have put on or formed well here at 140, 147, he seems to be well into the weight, and he looked bigger, of course, and he, kind of handled Ugas there on the strong side of it, dropped him twice, I recall, and
wow.
Ugas just looked pretty beat up after the fight. And with
Mm,
his eye, I don't think anything's going to change. It's just going to continue to get worse the longer he continues to fight. So he's got to certainly make some high level considerations. He's not a guy who has the power to do much at 154 where they'll be
yeah.
a bit more bigger and that I would take even more damage. And at 147, it's just an uphill battle right now. It's just an
Mm.
uphill battle. So he's going to have to really consider his future, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he has much left to do. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have anywhere to go really now. I'm afraid he just, yeah, he's probably his best days are definitely gone. Obviously, so it is a
Yeah.
little unfortunate that he just achieved his best wins when he was already, in kind of
Yeah.
advanced stage.
Yeah. Certainly one
That's
of
how
those
it goes.
situations, he's really
Yeah,
started to get that recognition, but it just so
yeah,
happens he's also starting to hit that back end, that sort of
yeah.
sliding part of his career as well.
That's true. 35, 36. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I
Nature of
think,
the sport.
yeah, when he beat Pacquiao, he was probably 35. Pacquiao.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And hey, put up a excellent performance as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, tough
Mm,
sledding here on out for sure because you got to go through a Jerron Ennis or something like that to get to that title point, and
That's
that certainly
not
wouldn't bode well for his right eye.
no. That
Yeah,
would
so
not be easy, definitely.
as for Barrios, yeah, some options out there for him. Ennis could be one of them, but there are also some other ones who are in the mix. I mentioned Montez Stanionis, who's been looking to fight,
Oh
and it's been an
yeah,
unfortunate situation with him and those
yeah.
repeated rescheduling, and now it's off with
Was
Virgil
it?
Ortiz, which is
Yeah,
going to be an
Virgil.
excellent boxing contest. Was going to be a top
Yeah,
10, potentially top 5 matchup in boxing, just given each man's style. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're ever going to get that one.
what a shame. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, I was really looking forward to it. I mean,
Yeah,
most
me
people
too.
were. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
one I was highly anticipating here this year. But
Yeah.
hopefully we can see Stanionis in there with someone at least, because that's kind of been a setback for him not being
Mm.
able to fight either.
Yeah, Stanionis definitely is a talented guy. Also, I'm not sure really how much chance he would have stood against Ortiz, but anyway, it would have been a really good experience, like a learning curve at least for him. You know,
Yeah,
if he got knocked out,
yeah,
like
he would have been game and scrappy. He always is. So
yeah.
that would have made for some very interesting stuff for sure.
Mm.
Very interesting stuff. So Mr. Pass mentioned that Josh and Boss, how delighted were you when Frank Martin called in to talk sport and said that Fury Usyk both officially signed a contract for the fight. Said the date will be announced after Fury and Gano. Pretty exciting right there. Pretty exciting that we'll finally get the opportunity to have a full four-belt era, undisputed world heavyweight champion, fully unified there. And it's
Mm.
a contest that we've been seeking. When it happens, I'm guessing it's going to be in the early part of next year, just given the trajectory of things. But that being said, I look forward to it, and I think it's going to be a fight of high interest, despite some of the comments that Fury has made that nobody is going to check for Usyk. They're certainly going to check for him in this fight, and he has 3 belts. So I look forward to it. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on it, Buys?
Yeah, I am glad and satisfied. But I'm just gonna hold my horses until we get it on paper, like when it's really official and done. So, but anyway, I hope it will be that it is done now, and it was way like about time. I mean, this should have
Mhm.
happened like a year ago or something, and yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, certainly. I'm sure we'll be
But
diving into that more and more as
yeah,
the weeks come on.
yeah, but anyway, it's good that it happens that before both guys are, too far up or close to 40, like Fury is
Yeah.
35 and Usyk
Yeah.
is 36 or
Clocks are
almost.
ticking.
Yeah, yeah, it is, of course. Nobody wants to see, a bad fight because one or both guys are past it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I'm cool with that for sure. I'm cool with
Mm.
that. So, yeah, more to come on Fury Usyk as more details are released. Mr. Paz mentions another interesting one was Kermel Moten guy. He said that Lee Wood ducked him. He's 1-0 now as a pro 70-year-old promoted by
Or,
Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I know they were calling him like a little tank or whatever. I didn't catch the contest, but I know he did have what has to be the longest post-fight interview for a debuting fighter that I've seen. So I was able to catch that, which is very interesting there. But I'm going to be looking out for him. I'm going to try to see if I can find video of that fight in itself, because I didn't catch it, but I know he's highly touted, and he seems to be a man who they think packs a tank-like punch, or at least that's what the comparisons have been.
right.
Just
I
food
never
again,
heard of this guy, Carmel. Interesting name.
yeah.
Carmel.
All right, just
Lubin.
looking through some of these comments here. Bruce mentions he had Lubin winning that contest with Ramos. Hey, yeah, hey, he got that W. So I know that Alex Vega had it a draw, so I guess that's not out of the realm of possibility that it was fairly close. Yeah, so
Yeah.
good stuff indeed. Good stuff. Let me see.
I
Also,
just
yeah,
think,
salute to everyone who's dropped in. I mentioned stop motion MMA up in this thing. As a matter of fact, Rodolfo Rivera, but stop motion MMA says, who you got, Zerto Ramirez or Joe Smith Jr.? Because they're gonna be
yeah,
fighting as well coming up
I
here. It
was
might be
like,
next.
sort
Yeah, yeah. So it's at a 193-pound catch weight. We were talking about it on the Fight Night
like,
Sports channel, but it's gonna
yeah,
be Smith's return since the Better Biev fight, and Zerto, of course, he's struggled weight wise pretty much at
mm,
168, 175 now, and certainly here at 175, we thought the move up in weight was going to make things better, but he's seemingly struggled more here at 175 than he was at 168. So 193 catch weight. What are your thoughts on it? It's practically a cruiserweight fight between Joe
yeah,
Smith Jr., who's been out since that Better BF fight, and Zerto Ramirez, who lost to Bivol, pretty much was dominated, I guess you can say, in
mm,
some sense from a fundamental standpoint. But it's a big guy still, pretty much seemingly in his prime. So it should be interesting at the very least.
yeah. Have to turn down the light. I hate the way I look at this strong light.
All good.
Anyway, yeah. I think, yeah, I favor Zerdo because I don't know, Smith now might be a little like damaged goods after getting knocked out by Beterbiev, and yeah, has also suffered a few other losses. Of course, he's got
Mhm.
the puncher's chance. He's still the bigger puncher here. I mean, yeah, so, but I think Zerdo is all in all at least a little better fighter probably than Smith Jr. And yeah, but it will be interesting. I mean, that cruiserweight, wow, that's gonna be that sounds kind of strange, you know. We have both
Yeah.
guys playing cruiserweight. Yeah, I think I favor Ramirez. Yeah, I do, but probably on points, you know, or yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, points potentially late stoppage, just depending on the condition mindset of Joe Smith Jr. And I know Mr. Pats mentioned in the last stream that his brother died not too long ago or whatever. So wonder
Wow.
how that's gonna, or if that will have any implications on sort of his mental state in the contest in itself.
Hmm.
But as far as
Well, maybe.
freshness, you could argue that Zerto is the fresher fighter, just given the fact that
Hmm.
Smith Jr., he has been in some pretty tough contests. And of course, he was just last in with Better Biev, and he took some damage in that fight for sure. So I
Yeah.
lean Zerto as well for a decision, potential late stoppage in
Yeah.
what
Well,
should be
maybe.
a pretty good fight for pockets, I would say.
Mhm. Yeah, of course. Of course, you got a guy like Smith who is very, like, you know, knockout minded, and also Zuro, he likes to, you know, mix it up and he likes a
Yeah,
good fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
certainly a fight for the fans, I would say.
Mhm.
A
Yeah,
fight for the
definitely.
fans. If both men can come out in the form that we're accustomed to seeing. So that
Mhm.
is one that was there. Now, on this, again, another edition of Boxing Chit here on Zencaster, all that stuff. But Canelo Charlo, that undercard, and we kind of talked about the Ugas Barrios, Ramos Lubin Garcia versus Rendez. Rendez was a seemingly solid fight. Alexander Gvozdyk, he made his.
Oh, yeah.
He had another
I
fight.
saw that knockout, yeah,
Yeah, I
at
haven't
least.
seen it, but I need to check that out right there. Knocked out Isaac
Right.
Rodriguez.
Uh, right cross. It was nice. But the opponent didn't look like some solid opponent. But anyway, he's.
Yeah, yeah. I was
he
familiar with
needs.
Rodriguez. He got stopped by Damon Nicholson a couple of years
Oh,
back. Uh,
right. Yeah,
so
he kind of looks smaller, you know, small for
yeah,
light heavyweight. Yeah.
yeah, he's seemingly moved up. I think when he and Damon were fought, yeah, that was probably at 168, 160 or
Yeah.
168. I think 168 or
He's one
whatever.
of these shorter, like stocky guys,
Yeah, yeah. So
like
Gvozdyk
John
back in that
Ryder.
same column.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. John Ryder, you know,
Oh yeah,
guys
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Sort of like him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like bulldogs.
Yeah, and I want to say salute to the Coastal Boxing Club channel. So be sure to check that out. I had the pleasure of actually being a part of an interview panel with Alexander Gvozdyk on Friday of last or Thursday of last week, and this was prior to the fight. It kind of happened there last minute. It was good to be able to chat with Gvozdyk. He's seems in well condition. Of course, seeing
Mm.
that at the weigh-in as well, he seems to be in the right mindset. He's eventually probably trying to make a run there at a title. So it'll be interesting to see how quick that comes about, or if he paces himself a good deal. I know he said he's ready and welcome for all challengers, but I look
Mm.
forward to seeing what happens from here with Gvozdyk. You know, I mentioned to him in that interview and
Yeah.
everything. I had the pleasure of actually catching him live here in DC at the MGM. Is on a Ukraine card that featured Lomachenko, Gvozdyk, and
Mm.
Usyk. So having the chance to see all of them box their way to victories on the same night was a pleasure for sure. And the Ukrainian crowd, or the Ukrainians, were there in full force here in DC, and they really showed up and turned up uh, for their crew there, and it was a great experience. One of the best ones I've had, just being at a boxing event and seeing the American passion there. So salute
Yeah.
to Alexander Gvozdyk, aka the
Yeah.
Nail.
I'm glad he's back because it was so kind of unfortunate what happened to him after the better be a fight. He just kind of slid away, kind of, and was inactive for so long. But now he's back finally and doing well so far. I hope he gets to fight somebody next year, like one of the guys, like Bivol maybe, or fight better be again. I don't know if he wants. If he wants to, maybe he does. But I hope he does get a title fight soon.
Oh
Again,
yeah,
but maybe not too soon. But anyway, soon enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and we know that those paths to a title shot. Hey, he's better Biev is going to be one of them, and then Bivol. So
Yeah,
those are the
Bivol.
two paths that he would have to go through,
Yeah.
and of
I
course.
don't think they are the only champions, are they? In the at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one
those
stage?
are the only two right now with the title. So that means that
Yeah.
that would be a rematch, of course, with Gvozdyk, his only loss coming at the hands of Better BF. So
Hmm.
it would make for an interesting contest for sure. Just seeing how that
Yeah.
rematch will go and how this time off will have done for Gvozdyk.
He's probably the guy who still gave Beterbiev the toughest fight he had
Oh
in
yeah,
his
he was
yeah,
bringing it for sure.
yeah. So he just got caught, and Beterbiev is just a beast. And,
Oh yeah, yeah, he is. You know, he's proven to be as
yeah,
advertised for sure.
just like
Um,
he's like Khabib of boxing.
oh yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Certainly, certainly. Salute to Max Duran, who's dropped in. Always great to have you here, Max Duran. Once again, Max, I think you had a birthday here not too long ago there, Max. So happy birthday once again there, Max. Salute
he's
to him,
got
folks. Be sure to
he's
show
got
him some
one.
love there.
He's got one of boxing's greatest last names,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, Duran. We know how that goes right
Yeah,
there for sure. Max says Charlo was there for a payday, not to fight. That's what it seemed like. Hey, you could
yeah,
argue such. He really didn't take many risks in the contest for sure. Now I know he was feeling those body shots because we could hear them on the broadcast in itself. But that being said, he was certainly not going to take any risk in that contest and leave himself susceptible to that knockout. So I certainly feel where you're coming from there, Max. It just turned out to not be as action packed. And I say dare to be great, which he did, but he certainly didn't dare to be reckless and risky. And that
yeah.
certainly didn't make for the type of excitement that we were expecting, especially based on the promotion of undisputed versus undisputed.
I just think he should have left that fight to his brother. Simple as that. I don't know really why he
Yeah,
took it. I think there were talks. I think I heard like maybe Jermell was offered that fight first, but then he turned it down or something. But it wasn't
yeah.
surprised really. I mean, Yeah, I don't know what's Jermell thinking, what he wants to do with his career, but wow.
Yeah, at this point, we just need to see Jamal back in the ring if he's
Yeah,
going to get back in the ring.
yeah. Him just being like a little bigger guy, and
Yeah, yeah,
he
certainly made more sense right there.
yeah, of course. But Jermell, no, I mean,
So,
fighting in 154 until recently, it's
so
just a
yeah,
big step up, too big. Yeah,
yeah. So Jamel hasn't fought since Montiel, which was on June 19th, 2021.
wow.
June 19th, 2021. So yeah, Jamel's gonna be hitting that 3 years out of the ring mark at some point
You
here.
mean Jermall? Yeah,
Yeah,
Jermall.
Jamal, that is. Yeah, yeah, right,
Yeah.
Jamal. So yeah, he's been out a good minute, and I know it was an injury. You would think he's
It
over
was.
whatever injury at this point, so maybe a ton of other stuff as well, but who knows?
Seems like he's got this rivalry with Plant now, so maybe they will. I
Oh
hope
yeah,
that
yeah.
fight
I
will
think the
happen.
fans could buy into that one for sure.
Yeah, he got slapped by Plant recently in the gym.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one I want to see right there. That's the one I
yeah,
want to see. That would be a good one. Or he might need a tune up or something like that beforehand, but I would like to see
yeah,
him versus Splint. It'd be
yeah. Why
interesting.
not? Yeah,
Salute to Facebook user. Might be my mom said son can't join, but listen tonight in bed. Or someone said that. But either way, salute to your Facebook user. Appreciate it as always. Appreciate it. Hey, anytime, Max. Anytime there, buddy. Hey, love that last name. That's good stuff right there.
you
Max
gotta.
Hands of Stone Duran right there.
Yeah,
Stop Motion MMA says, who you got, Andrade or Benavidez? This being Demetrius Andrade, he's going to be taking on David Benavidez
Benavides.
in what is his second fight at 168
I
pounds
think
right there.
I think
What are your thoughts so
Benavides.
far?
Yeah, because Andrade is just a little bit. He starts well, but then he drifts off and kind of plays it safe. He has scored
Yeah.
so many. I mean, so many fights where he scored a knockdown early, but then he just couldn't finish the guy off, and then he would just played safe for the rest of the fight. I hate to see that stuff. But
Yeah.
Benavidez is just all fire. Just bang bang.
Yeah, he's going to be
no,
coming.
yeah. Once he got you hurt, that's it. Pretty much. He will not back off. Until he stops you. So I
Yeah,
think he
yeah.
wins.
Yeah, yeah, at this stage, certainly I'll have to lean Benavidez. I like Andre. I'm a
Mm,
fan of his boxing ability. Stylistically, it looks very good. Stylistically, yeah, he's had those moments certainly where he's dropped someone and hasn't been able to get them out of there and coasted through some victories, I guess you can say. And some he tried, but he just couldn't get her done. And I think,
yeah,
yeah, certainly at this stage, and given the strong suits of both fighters, if Andre is going to fade towards the end, that is certainly where Benavidez is going to pick things up. And you could see a stoppage happening, even though Andre has yet to taste defeat. But you could see it potentially happening because of just all of the things that are seemingly more strong suited for Benavidez. Not to mention that at this point, Andrade is at 168 and he's fought there once. It was in January. I don't know when this fight is happening, but I just think that Benavidez is a big dude. He's a big
yeah.
dude, and he's
He
going to keep
is.
coming all night, and he's really going to put that pressure on Andrade. So I would have to favor Benavidez via late stoppage. Potentially a decision, but more likely a late stoppage, just
Yeah.
given career trajectories right now.
Hmm. Probably. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Andre is much smaller, but still, there's
Yeah.
he has come up from 160, yeah, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and then the inactivity,
Yeah.
Not that Benavidez just has been out of this worldly active, but the inactivity for Andre certainly mixed
Hmm.
in over the last several years. I think will probably play a factor as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. We
It's
shall
been.
see for sure. Salute to Max Duran again. Says I think Crawford would knock him out. I think that being Jermell there, Max. Hey, yeah, it could certainly potentially happen there, or it could potentially happen. And Crawford, he has that type of dog fight in him that he will certainly be gunning for it. Now, for me, the fight that I want to see is Crawford versus, or not Crawford, but Jermell Charlo versus Tim Zoo. And I think Tim Zoo, he has that possibility as well. And I think their styles will mesh well enough for it to be a pretty exciting contest for as long as it lasts. They could go to the decision, and it's not guaranteed that Tim Zoo is going to be able to press him and get him out of there like he's been doing many of his opponents as of late. But stylistically, it makes for a good fight, and I think that's the contest that should be pursued by Jermell Charlo, and I think that would do him wonders if he were able to defeat a guy like Zoo.
Yeah. Sorry. What happened now? Well, I was just reading something. Suddenly he appears. Oh yeah, you pressed the wrong button.
Yep, I've occasionally done that. Certainly, I've done that on
Yeah,
occasion. Back in the mix, folks. But yeah, what do you think, Tim Zoo, Jermell Charlo there, Boz?
yeah. What a what a big fight, of course. I don't know really. I mean, Team Sue is very good. I mean, he's got this same kind of how to say like a warrior kind of aura, like his old man had. Also, really kind of a
Warrior.
pressure fighter. Yeah, a destroyer type fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and but yeah, I mean, he doesn't have that much experience. Charlo has more experience from big fights, definitely, and I don't know. We'll see. I really cannot say really who I think will win it right now, but there's a good chance that Tim can upset the apple cart. I mean, he's the younger guy and younger, fresher guy. Maybe not stronger, but he certainly is a strong fighter. I mean, the way he fights really
Yeah.
proves that. So he's got power also. He can punch, yeah, also.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. So I think that makes it very interesting right there. I definitely like to see it. Big shout out
Yeah.
to Nick Hammer. What's going on, brother? There it says, big up Josh and all. Nick Hammer is with the family. Stop by to smash the like button and show support. Appreciate that support there, Nick. As always, great at having dialogue in the comments. You are appreciated, buddy. There. Appreciate you hitting that like. And hey, everyone, anyone, hit the like button. We appreciate it. But salute to Nick there. A lot of great discussions with him on the channel there. So appreciate you taking the time to drop by, my man, Nick Hammer. Nick Hammer holding it down. Max as well. And salute to
Hey,
Alexander Campbell, who's dropped in representing there. It says, I wonder if Canelo fight will be rebroadcast on Showtime. Yeah, good question right there. Good question. They may do it here on the end of a particular, or I don't know if they have a fight this weekend coming up or anything of that nature, but they may do it before that, or they could just do it in general. But yeah, I'd imagine at some point I would think it pops up there. But appreciate you dropping in here, Alexander Campbell, of course, Alex there, Viva Ukraine,
the Kozak.
and yeah, it'll be an interesting one though. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I don't know if you saw it there, Alex, but Canelo pretty much controlled all facets of the fight, though Charlo may have gotten around, but he was dropped as well. No real threatening blows or at any point from Charlo. I don't think Canelo took a head snapping shot of any note, at least from what I recall. I don't recall seeing anything. And Canelo, he kind of just pressed forward. You could argue he probably could have pressed even more to try and get Charlo out of there after he had dropped him. But at the end of the day, it ended up being a decision there. So hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. We were kind of discussing what would be next for both, and we are just here on this Charlo versus Tim Zoo. So hopefully that, or I'll take Charlo versus Terrence Crawford as well. And as you mentioned there, Duran, yeah,
Yeah,
Crawford certainly is the type who would go for it. He could potentially get him out of there if he had an
yeah.
opportunity like that.
Why not? Why not? Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see though. We'll see what's next there. So, all All right, moving ahead. That was a good card, but we had a great fight that took place, at least from an action perspective, yesterday. That was over on DAZN, and we saw the IBF World and the Ring Cruiserweight
Yay,
Championship on
the
the
one I
line.
saw.
Jay Opetaia against, I forget Thompson's first name. What is it?
Jordan, I believe. Was
Jordan
it?
Thompson.
Yeah.
Thompson being a big, tall cruiserweight. Opetaia
Yeah.
certainly was giving up height, but he's a big, solid guy himself.
Yeah.
And hey, this fight had some action there. It was one that, hey, for as long as it lasted 4 rounds there, you saw some heavy blows being exchanged. What were your thoughts there, Boz?
Was definitely not a boring fight, you know. That's a good thing, you know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, in the first couple rounds, it was all Opetaia, and Jordan Thompson looked scared to engage, but then he started throwing and landed a few nice shots, but nothing that really kind of hurt Opetaia, and while Opetaia just kept tearing through him, and you know, in the end, he got him out of there in early in round 4. I think when I watched the replay, what happened was that he seems to have hit him on the temple, which was the reason why it ended so suddenly. You know, the fight. But also, I mean, after round 3, Thompson was really bloodied up and didn't look to be in good shape and took some big ones, of course. Yeah. I mean, it was just an impressive showing, but also quite a big gap in class, and because Thompson, I think he didn't have so many fights before this, and he was like a substitute for us. I don't remember who it was. I think it was maybe Riakpo or somebody like that.
Oh yeah,
and
that would be interesting too.
So, but despite the size, it doesn't really help. If you are so big, if you cannot avoid those punches and all that, if you cannot land enough of your own, yeah. So
very much true there. So no, I'm with you for sure. Yeah, and Thompson, I always knew he was there to be hit. I've seen him fight on a few occasions, and one of the things was he could be touched, despite the fact that he's often going to be the taller, longer opponent when he's in a contest. Real quick, salute to Nick Harmer, who mentions my name does look a bit like Hammer, but it's Harmer. It's all love, though. Hey, all love there, Nick. I've been saying Hammer this entire time, dating way back. For some reason, I see that and I see Hammer. But some great fighters and great stories have come about from names being misspelled. So hammer time there for Nick, but no, Nick Harmer. I got you there, Nick. I appreciate that clarification, buddy.
Here it says that Thompson is actually 6'6". Wow. First it said he was 6'5", but Boxrec says
6'6". They were saying 6'7" and stuff on some broadcast and all that. Certainly, you could tell he was a taller guy for sure. And Opetaia is 6'2" himself. And some have said 6'3". So yeah, he's a long, tall guy, but yeah, definitely Opetaia. This was his first fight back since July of 2022, which was an excellent contest with Marius Briedis, longtime top-level cruiserweight right there, and Opetaia had his jaw broken. So considering such, and this was his first fight since then, I thought he looked pretty solid, and he was really going for it offensively. An exciting fighter to watch for sure.
British was there also, I believe. Last night I saw him talking to the journal,
British trying to get back in there, looking for that rematch, which was close.
Yeah, maybe he's now, but he's getting up in age, and I don't know if he's really still at his best. Probably not. I believe he's like 40 or something by now, probably.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's hit 40 now at this point.
Well, he's gonna be 39 in January. You're right. So,
okay. So not quite then. So he's got something there. Mind you, he did look good in that fight with Opetaia when they last fought, despite being on the losing end. I remember scoring it. I think I had it very, very close. I might have had him up.
Maybe he can pull off one more big fight performance. I
The
hope so.
Britas, yeah, certainly a name there. The Latvian
Yeah,
cruiserweight. Max mentions, yeah, Opetaia needing to check out
nice guy
cruiserweight more.
also. He just
Yeah.
appears like a nice guy. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, certainly, certainly he does. Hey, and you know what, Max, cruiserweight, yeah, has a good deal of talent there. So there's a lot
yeah,
of good fights that could be made there at cruiserweight. This win sort of adds to it. Of course, this doesn't have to be the end of the road for Thompson. He needs to
mm,
certainly straighten up some things on the defensive end. But with that type of power, he can still be a player somewhat, but I want
yeah,
to see some of these other ones there at cruiserweight. You did mention Reactpor. I imagine Reactpor Opetaia would be a heck of a fight, and both guys would be
yeah.
going at each other. You
I
also
think,
have other ones like Chris Billum Smith who's
yeah,
out there
he
as
was
well.
the one. His name was brought up after the fight, especially, and Opetaia said
Oh
he
yeah,
would like to hold that, to get that WBO belt. So,
yep, chance to
and he
unify
can.
right there.
Yeah, and I don't think Bill Smith is like a really, really dangerous opponent for him. But I don't
Yeah,
think so. But he
yeah,
will be a better fight than Thompson,
yeah,
definitely.
certainly,
Yeah,
certainly. Yeah, CBS will put up more of a fight for sure. I'd favor
yeah,
Opetaia as well, but I think it will be a good one.
mm,
And I see it ended in stoppage one way or the other as
yeah.
well.
I just love the way Opetaia throws his punches. So clever, he's so
Yeah.
capable. That
I said
guy.
there's a new sheriff in town in New Zealand right there. Move over Joseph Parker. The man right
Yeah,
now, and moving forward for the time being is Jay Opetaia.
he's also both are so of Samoan heritage. Heritage
Hmm.
actually. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Samoans are really good fighters, and yeah,
Yeah,
usually,
I think they're the Maori people. They're
yeah, they
both
also,
Maori.
well, yeah, they're all warriors and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I look forward to more from Opetaia. So hopefully we get to see that. And being able to unify, that's certainly a plus right there. Salute to Skywalker Boxing who dropped in. Says salute to Josh and Boz. Hey folks, be sure to check out Skywalker, his channel. Just search Skywalker there on YouTube, and he's gonna pop up for sure. A lot of good content over there. We've collaborated on some stuff. Appreciate you for sure there, Skywalker Boxing, and helping push out and promote the Vince Powerhouse fight that is coming up here on October 12th. So we do look forward to that one as well. Vince Powerhouse is going to be on the John Riel Casimiro versus uh, Jordini, or I forget his first name, but Oguni is his last name. It's like Yunoki or something of that nature.
the
I had to double
Japanese
check, but
fighter.
be sure to
Yeah,
check that out. But salute to Skywalker there for sure. So yeah, we were talking about the contest going on. Yeah, we did. Worth mentioning, Ellie Scottney defends her super bantamweight
oh yeah,
championship, picks up a victory as well. And you also had Caroline Dubois pick up a decision in her
oh
contest, as
right.
well as Vidal Riley getting a
Mm,
dub. I like Vidal Riley as well.
yeah.
Yep. Got Skywalker
Well, I
mentions Vince
remember.
and Sonny fighting in a couple of weeks. So yeah, Sonny McEwen, he's going to be fighting October 14th as well. Rising cruiserweight. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about cruiserweight. He's number 3 as far as the American cruiserweight. Sonny McEwen. You'll probably recall the interview there, Boz, but he's going to be fighting coming up, steadily moving up the ladder. So he could be a
Nice.
player there here very soon as well with some of these names that we've thrown out, or at least as
Mm,
he gets to that point of trying to breach that world top 10 ranking. So we'll
yeah,
look forward to it.
cruiserweights. Yeah, I'm also excited to see what he's still. I mean, it's early on in his career, but so far it looks pretty good. That guy that I told you about, Tommy Fletcher, who was 6'7",
Oh yeah,
six
Tommy
seven
Fletcher.
cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
yes,
look forward to him too. Yeah, Tommy, I've seen him. Yeah,
yeah,
super tall guy again.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Mm,
All right, but good stuff there, Boz. Good stuff for sure. We're gonna talk about the what's coming up on the schedule. There is October 4th, a Pro Box TV card, Gomez versus Nunez. if it's a Nunez, I think it is. It should make for a very good fight right there. Certainly, and it is the Nunez. I think it is. So Gomez
Gomez,
coming in 17-0, Nunez
that
15-0-2.
the son
So,
of Leo Gomez. Maybe that's the only Gomez I ever heard of, but
oh
he's
yeah,
not fighting
maybe.
anymore.
Yeah,
Venezuelan, yeah,
yeah, maybe because this guy is Mexican.
Venezuela. All right, then probably not.
Yeah, Nunez is Dominican, so it should be a good one. It should be a good one. So I look forward to
I
that. That's
like
gonna be on
this. Yeah.
ProBox TV, so you'll be able to catch it on YouTube. And Pablo Cesar Cano is gonna be fighting as well. Remember him, Pablo Cesar Cano? He's still
Oh
out there.
yeah, he's still fighting. Oh man,
Yeah,
I know he had that upset. Who did he knock out? Who was really like Morales or somebody like that? I think no, not him. I
I think
know.
he did get something a little while back, whatever.
Yeah,
But he's still out there, and he's actually only 33, believe it or not, even though he's been around for a minute.
yeah. Mexicans they start so young. Like
He
16,
turned
17.
pro in 2006, believe it or not.
Wow,
That's
that was
crazy, and
like
he's 33, so
17
he was a
years.
teenager.
So 16, yeah. Like I said, no.
Yeah,
Many turned pro at 16. Some even before that. I mean, yeah.
yeah, that's pretty insane. Certainly pretty insane there. So Pablo's still going at it, and he's been in there with some big names as well.
Yeah.
A lot of good experience. You can't take away that experience. That always plays a factor, regardless of the situation.
Mm.
In many cases, at least. Rasclot says, "Sup guys? Cruiserweight division needs more exposure. Unfortunately, the boxing promoters won't promote it. Yeah, they certainly should. Yeah, it's a great division. Hey, appreciate you dropping in here as well, Rasclot. Salute day, or Rasclot 222. Be sure to check them out, folks. But you're all right. They do need a bit more exposure there. It says only diehard fans watch the cruiserweight tournament with Usyk clean house, and that was great right there. And both times the cruiserweight tournaments that they had on there, they were very good. You got to
Yeah,
see the best cruiserweights who were in the mix there.
as I said, that fight between Gassiev and Dorticos, that was a classic war, really, man.
Oh yeah,
That ended in the by last round knockout. Wow, just amazing,
yeah.
perfect ending to a perfect fight. Yeah.
And then Britas versus Glavatsky.
Oh
Glavatsky,
yeah,
remember that one? The craziness, dramas surrounding that, but
yeah.
exciting.
But it was rather short, like third round.
Yeah.
Stop. Yeah, that was. I
Yeah,
didn't like.
Robert Byrd didn't hear the bell, and it turned into chaos. That
Yeah. Also,
was a
you
good one.
had Marco Hook and
Oh yeah, Marco Hook.
Usyk. Yeah, that was a good fight
He
too.
was around for a long period of time. Oh, Marco, long time veteran of the
Yeah,
cruiserweight division. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah,
He's a
no,
nice
that's good
guy.
stuff right there.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he comes from like he's originally from Serbia, but I believe
Okay.
he's of Bosnian ethnicity or origin,
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, Marco. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good stuff right there. Good
Mm.
stuff there. Oh, Marco, Bosnian. Good stuff. Skywalker says Pro Box is awesome. Certainly. I like Pro Box. They've been putting on some fights, holding true to their word and keeping the fans looped in, keeping the fans with fights to go check out. So I want to see them continue to get that recognition and do their thing, because I love having Wednesday night fights. Good way to set the tone there in the middle of the week. Skywalker says, Rascal salute. Facts. Cruiserweight division needs more exposure. Most certainly there. It does so. So we're gonna be peddling it. Rascal says, sup, boss. Appreciate you there, Rasclot, as always. I just
Yeah, man.
Rasclot, didn't know you had a channel. Oh yeah. So
Just chilling, man.
certainly the case right there. But yeah, good stuff. And then Rasclot says cruiserweight division is the punchers division. Yeah. It's a good weight right there. Big guys, not necessarily heavyweights, but could be heavyweights. Some big guys, and they can do their thing. Yeah, Rasclot Gassiev moved up
And
to
just, yeah.
heavyweight a few years back, but you wouldn't know because he hasn't really done anything since the move. In actuality,
I'm just kind of disappointed that if that's the truth, it's something I heard. Badu Jack is moving up to Bridgerweight. I mean, that's why I don't know why he would do
oh
that. I
yeah,
mean, just as he's won that world title, again, he should stay at cruiserweight and finish his career
yeah,
there fight another big fight there. And
And
that's it.
didn't Badu start at 160
Yeah, well, 168.
or
Heard.
168? Okay, well,
Yeah,
yeah, I knew somewhere around there. So yeah, he's been on the move.
he
But yeah,
won.
he got that. It was a good fight against Makabu. But yeah, that'll be interesting there at Bridgerweight because he's certainly going to
Yeah,
be a smaller
and
Bridgerweight.
Macau, I was thinking about him last night. I mean, the thing is, the guy was just all about punching power. I mean, he was being outboxed by that guy Machunu.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Until he
Another,
just
I
happened
think he's
to
South
just
African.
sorry connect with a big punch. Yeah, and he got knocked out in 3 rounds by Tony Bellew. I mean, come
Right,
on,
right.
Tony Bellew. If
Yeah.
he can knock you out in 3 rounds, then you are no good. I mean, you are not a true world class.
Yeah, Bell, you
So
did get him out of there.
yeah,
Oh,
so
Tony
that
Bell,
was a
you.
shock. That was a shock back then, but it made me wonder: is this guy really as good as I thought? No, he's.
Maybe not as shocking here in 2020.
Yeah, no, 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 no longer. And he said, yeah, he thought that Marco was. No, he's not Albanian. No, no.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, good stuff there, Alex. Yeah, he's Bosnian. Roscott says Badu Jack is so undersized at
Serbian,
cruiserweight.
but yeah. Anyway, Serbian, Bosnian. Let's say.
Yep, I've been to Albania.
Well, actually, the part where in the city where Marco originally where he was born, is not that far from Kosovo. It's kind of close to Kosovo
Okay,
and Albania also. So it's
okay,
like
cool, cool. Yeah,
southwestern Serbia. Yeah,
yeah, I really like Kosovo. Kosovo's nice, nice place right there to
really. Yeah, yeah, it
eat,
is. I guess.
chill. Yeah, yeah, pretty cool. I got to get to
There's been
Bosnia too.
yeah, yeah. It's
But
beautiful.
yeah, yeah, cool, good stuff. But yeah, Badu, yeah, undersized at cruiserweight for sure. So he's definitely going to
On the
be
side,
undersized
yeah,
at Bridger, depending on the situation. He's a very good boxer, but hey, he's going to
yeah.
definitely push the limits. I would say.
That's why it doesn't have any like. It doesn't make any sense that he should move up again.
Yeah, yeah. I guess after Bridger weight is heavyweight, and then he'll call it a career.
Yeah.
So Skywalker says Gavozdik looked good. Got the second round stop, but yes, indeed. Guess that better be a
He's
lot.
gonna
Be a loss made him stronger. Yeah, he's
be
had a good
like
deal of time off.
a heavy, like Tony was heavy because he had too many hamburgers and
Yeah,
donuts.
yeah, that certainly was the case. Old Tony there came back.
That's what he said. I remember in an interview, he said, I can eat more like
Yeah,
burgers and donuts."
yeah. Well, I don't have to starve myself.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah.
obviously had a problem with that. Having to starve
Mm-hmm.
himself. Yeah.
That's funny, but yeah, good stuff there, Skywalker. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Gavozdik ready to get back in the mix here, so he did.
Hmm.
He did his thing. I need to catch that one, but it was a good one.
Mr.
Max Milan says
Carnation.
Jack versus Opetaia would be a good fight. Hey, I think Opetaia might have a little bit too much size and power for him there at cruiserweight. That's me though, but
Yeah,
I know Jack would put up a fight for sure. He'd be
yeah.
crafty.
He is a good boxer, a good technician.
Yeah,
Definitely. Sorry.
gotcha.
But even at 168, I mean, he never was their true puncher. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
right, right. No, yeah. Skywalker said, "Glad we got to interview him before his fight." I asked him that question about being better than before because of better BF. Yeah, certainly that time off had to definitely help with things. I think there's something to that, depending on depending on when it happens, your age, and all that stuff, and getting the body that
yeah.
rest. So that had to be a good thing for Gavozdik in some sense, and he got to clear his mind mentally. Alex says I was overdoing the PNC work creation. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, got you there, Alex. Skywalker, Rasclot, just stood up to Skywalker. Good stuff right there. Bridging gaps, baby. Skywalker says Badu Jack just vacated the WBC, and what do you think of the Bridgerweight move? Yeah, certainly interesting. Certainly interesting there. I don't even know who has the belts there at Bridgerweight.
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
it'd be interesting.
Uh, Yes, maybe the guy who beat Babbage. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe because
was
Rivas is no
what
longer
was
active at least for right now. So
yeah
yeah, it'll be interesting.
some
So
some
maybe
Polish
it's wide open for the taking there at the top of the division. I'm sure Badu Jack must see something. Is like, you know what? I'm gonna make this move. Uh,
yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Eddie Hearn said it like Masternak was supposed to fight Opetaia, but he says like he chickened out. Like, come on,
oh, okay.
Masternak is way like past his prime now. He has fought like 10 years ago. He was a contender like for a world title, and you know. So I think he's like probably around 38, 39 now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Certainly. Lane 99. Welcome, Lane. Appreciate you being in here, Lane. It says will be interesting to hear you guys take on the weekend events when I get a chance to listen to your show later. Lane 99. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we dove into a number of those contests. Of course, Canelo Charlo, which was the big fight of the weekend, one of the big fights of the year, though it's kind of simmered a bit overall, but yeah, appreciate you there, Lane. I'm gonna keep that thing jumping. Skywalker Boss Minty, I don't care if I just show. Yeah, either it should be cruiser and heavy. Certainly, we'll see if it continues, if it catches on and truly takes off. Um, uh, we'll see if it takes off. Alex says Croatian foreign volunteer. Okay, good
Mhm.
stuff there, Alex. Okay, good stuff. You know, I wanted to visit Croatia. I wanted to visit it while I was in Kosovo.
You were fighting there or what? I didn't understand. Volunteer, like, in the war? Or, yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah. Let us know there, Alex.
Mhm. I know
Let us
they
know
had
there.
there were some volunteers from Europe, I mean, Western Europe and stuff that came there to fight. I remember there was a documentary about a Danish guy here on Norwegian TV who fought in Croatia. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Skywalker. Yeah, you got it there. I guess your chip sounds carried through. There, Skywalker. You're eating on the mic right there. Skywalker said he doesn't have a nice fight. Oh, good stuff there, Skywalker. We can hear you eating on that thing. Look at
Crunch, crunch,
well,
crunch.
good stuff right there. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me see here. Lastly, there, Boz is Lee Wood, Josh Warrington. What do you think of that one?
Lee Wood, Josh Warrington. Wow, Lee Wood looks really strong now and confident after he beat Lara. I think he's simply probably, and he's kind of also bigger, I think, physically than Warrington. So I back him
Yeah.
to win. Maybe he can. I think he can also even stop Warrington kind of late, but I'm not sure either that or on points he wins. And Warrington
Yeah.
is probably now just shop one, to put it that way.
Yeah, he's been in some tough
Damaged
battles for
goods.
sure.
Yeah,
He's
damaged.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in some tough ones for sure there. And
Mm.
I was saying so on the Fight Night Score stream. Again, salute to Fight Night Score, see him still in there. Be sure to check him out, subscribe to Fight Night Scores as well, folks. But I was saying on the stream that yeah, Warrington or Wood rather, he's just in form right now. He's very much in form, so he's that guy.
You mean
And
Wood?
yeah, yeah. With
Lee
that in
Wood.
mind, he certainly is one to
Yeah,
watch in the mix here.
Lee Wood is just a better boxer, more slick and better defensively and all that. He doesn't just go all out like Warrington. And, yeah.
Yeah, Fight Night Score said it ain't the foods packing, it's the dogs ruining the streams. Guilty. That's good stuff right there. Hey, appreciate it, Rasclot. Refreshing to have you in the mix here, Rasclot, to discuss it with us as well as everyone. So we thank everyone who's actually been in here and showed some love here today. We appreciate each of you. You know, it's about that time we have to wrap it up. Boz has to get to bed there where he's at. Alex mentioned some of the foreign volunteers during the breakaway civil wars, Brits, Americans, South Africans. Okay, got you there, Alex. Good stuff there. But man, yeah, it's been great. It's been great. We've got more boxing action coming. Be on the lookout. We're probably going to be talking a little bit of history here on the channel in itself here in the coming days, but we'll be around for sure. We'll be around. So with that, stay safe out there, folks. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
And we'll